This may come as a bit of a surprise to you, but did you know that every day of your life you're absorbing estrogen from the environment? Your body already has naturally occurring estrogen, and you're getting even more from the environment, so there's a chance that you may be experiencing estrogen dominance. Hello, and welcome to Village the Vitamin Store. I'm Dr. Fahad Barani, and in this video we're focusing on estrogen. So what happens to your body when you have too much estrogen? And what can you do to achieve the perfect estrogen balance for your body? Let's listen in as Angela discusses some of the common sources of estrogen mimickers, the symptoms you may be experiencing from too much estrogen, and what you can do to get your estrogen levels to a safe and healthy level.
Estrogens can cause major havoc in our bodies. So if we have estrogen dominance, we're getting things like cysts, endometriosis, fibroids, we get irregular periods, heavy periods. They cause a ton of havoc. Hormonal acne, there's a number of things that can happen. So one thing to bear in mind is that we actually absorb estrogen from the environment. So the environment, if we're trying to avoid having estrogen dominance, we really want to know where these hormones come from. And there's something called xenohormones or xenoestrogens. And what they do is they actually mimic estrogen, and they lock into our estrogen receptor sites as if they are estrogen. So they're actually chemical hormones. And they can cause a cascade of events to happen because it tricks the body into believing that it's estrogen. Some of these sources would be pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. So think non-organic sprays and whatnot on your vegetables and fruits. Also, dark hair dyes contain estrogen mimickers as well. So a lot of people will try and get blonde hair instead of the dark hair dyes due to that fact. Parabens, phthalates found in soaps and cosmetics. So there's so many different types of parabens. All you need to do is take a look at the ingredients, if you can, in your cosmetics and see if the word paraben's in there. And if it is, I would avoid it at all costs. All dry cleaning chemicals as well, so fabric softeners and whatnot. So a lot of these things aren't really even necessary to keep our clothes fresh. So it's not really a big deal in my mind to not use fabric softener, but there are a lot of natural options as well. Farmed fish is something else to keep an eye on. I know it can be so confusing knowing what to do when it comes to fish. Do I go with wild? Do I go with farmed or organic? But really, if you can just avoid farm fish at all costs and then have your wild fish, once or twice a week, that's your best bet. So the pill and HRT, the pill actually contains more estrogen than HRT, believe it or not. It contains a high dose of estrogen, and there's so many different types of pills out there, and I know a lot of us need to be on the pill for certain reasons, but you really want to consider different options if you can, because the pill can wreak such havoc on your hormones altogether. Commercially raised meat and dairy as well. These are really high sources of estrogens, especially when it comes to dairy products. So if you're to pick between dairy and meat, and you're going for organic or not, first go absolutely with your dairy, making sure it's organic. Several studies have been done on women who are pregnant, and if they had a lot of non-organic dairy, specifically cheese, their boys were born with smaller testicles. So just something to consider when it comes to your choice. Coffee as well will raise estradiol, and coffee does a number of things. There's pros and cons between coffee, but if you're someone who's working on balancing your hormones, you may want to consider your coffee intake. Estradiol is raised by alcohol. Even just one glass of wine will raise your estradiol. And then soy products as well. They raise your estradiol by 380%. So soy is something I'm very passionate about telling people to avoid, especially if they have estrogen-dominant conditions. So if you're going to choose soy, make sure it's very minimal and it's organic. Or you can also choose fermented soy. That's the best choice. So that would be like tempeh, miso. When we have too much estrogen, this is what happens. So check this out. So if you're looking at all these things, it's really hard to keep ourselves protected from the environment. We don't live in a bubble. We don't live in a vacuum. But just to give you an idea of what happens and maybe why you want to be aware of these environmental estrogens, you want to look at what happens. So it can cause our thyroid to go low and our sex drive to die, if that's not enough reason right there. It reduces progesterone. So we have such an interesting, important ratio between estrogen and progesterone. And when estrogen's high, even if you have progesterone, your balance is going to go off and you're going to become estrogen dominant. Also causes cell to grow without control. So all of our cells. So think fat cells, think endometriosis, think fibroids, cysts, all of the cells that are problematic, so cancer cells and whatnot. So if you have estrogen dominance and you have a small condition, it's just going to make it worse. It's going to cause things to grow. So that's what the trigger is with estrogen. Also encourages weight gain. So when you have estrogen, we sometimes call it the estrogen belly or the beer belly, because beer can also, because it's alcohol, cause us to have estrogen dominance. So that can, not only does it grow your fat cells, but specifically in the abdominal region. Also causes fibrocystic breasts, acne, and ovarian cysts. So again, because it makes things grow, cysts and whatnot, and fibroids, but also acne as well is really prominent in people that have estrogen dominance. It messes with your ovulation. Sometimes it actually makes the egg get stuck so that you actually break out with acne, especially along the jawline. That's just one thing that we all want to avoid, especially, these are the people that if you've had clear skin all your life, or you had some acne as a teenager, and then you have your kids and all of a sudden you're getting hormonal acne again. It's a telltale sign that something's going on with your sex hormones, and specifically you want to take a look at estrogen. Migraine headaches. So these are the headaches that you get right around 2 weeks before your period. Usually that's due to estrogen dominance as well. And also it worsens cellulite. So estrogen dominance will create more cellulite in your body, and there's a whole hormonal component to cellulite, but there's also a toxicity component to it as well. So you can do a combination approach when it comes to cellulite, but one of the first things you want to do is get your estrogen under control. Increases horrible hot flashes and night sweats. So yes, this is when you start getting the night sweats at nighttime, and you're in perimenopause, you're about 45, and you're wondering why you're getting all these night sweats. And it also causes endometriosis, fibroids, period problems, and horrible PMS. So what do we do about having too much estrogen? Well, we can do something by taking EstroSmart, and EstroSmart is actually for every woman. It helps to protect against estrogen dominance, reverses abnormal pap smears. I know a number of years ago when I first started with Lorna, I had an abnormal pap smear, and after 1 year it got normal, and I've never ever had an abnormal pap smear since. So because estrogen can cause a certain type of estrogen, 16-hydroxyestrone, to grow, and that's actually what causes HPV or human papillomavirus, and also the same trigger to cause your cervical cells to grow, which brings back an abnormal pap smear. So EstroSmart will help with that. Also with ovarian cysts as well. I've seen so many people that have had cysts or fibroids or whatnot that have taken the EstroSmart over the years, and they've noticed that they've avoided either a hysterectomy or they're getting much less pain because they've actually been able to shrink their fibroids and cysts. So if you're taking EstroSmart, it actually reduces the load of the toxic estrogens from the environment, and so that way you're reducing your load of estrogen in your body. So it's essential for women on the pill and HRT of any type, just because it helps to metabolize the effects of the pill, so you're not going to reverse what it's doing to you and protecting you from getting pregnant or regulating your cycle, but it will help to protect your liver. So EstroSmart contains phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification enzymes in there that will help to detoxify your liver, but also help to reduce the bad estrogen by packaging out the bad estrogens, like I was mentioning. The 16-hydroxyestrone is one of them. Also keeps estrogen to progesterone balanced. So you're reducing that load, you're helping your liver, and when your liver's helped, you're metabolizing everything better, so you're having a better balance of your hormones. It also helps to stop heavy or irregular bleeding. So if you're someone who's getting super heavy periods and you're all over the place with your cycle, EstroSmart will really help to regulate that, and we have a ton of testimonials to say that. It also stops uterine fibroids from growing and eliminates PMS. And you can use this with cellulite creams as well. As I was mentioning, it helps to reduce estrogen that's causing cellulite. Eliminate hormonal acne. This is a huge problem for people, and it could cause a lot of self-image issues and whatnot when you're having hormonal acne. So if you use EstroSmart, it will really help with that. And so for HPV, human papillomavirus, and cervical dysplasia as well, you can use the EstroSmart.
As you can see, there's a lot to consider when trying to reach and maintain your optimum estrogen balance. A great place to start is EstroSmart from our Lorna Vanderhaeg product line. EstroSmart contains no milk thistle, so it's safe for women with breast cancer. To learn about the correct dosage protocol for your symptoms, Just stop into any Village the Vitamin Store location in Southern Ontario and speak with our vitamin specialist. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Fahad Barani, encouraging you to achieve wellness through nutrition.